Hey guys, welcome to the review show. My name's Austin. Hitman stars Glenn Powell and Adria Arjona. Professional killer Gary Johnson breaks protocol to help a desperate woman trying to flee an abusive husband and finds himself falling for her. Glenn Powell is one of my favorite actors working in Hollywood right now. He just has that charm to him whenever he plays in a film. And weirdly enough, I didn't know he was in Spy Kids 3. Like he's that kid on the robot, like, the first like big robot that our main character, again, I don't remember the main character of Spy Kids, but our main lead in that movie, he fights like it's like the first, like, I don't know, a, a te- contestant, which I never knew that. And I've watched Spy Kids 3 multiple times. Not a very good movie, but I was pretty young when I was watching it. So didn't know that. Going into Hitman, I thought that this was going to be a movie about a hitman. Like, that's all, honestly. And because I had maybe seen the trailer once, and I didn't really know that much about this movie. It's apparently slightly based on a true story. They use that into their marketing. And so going into this, it's like, okay, so if it's slightly based on a true story, so it's like a cocaine bear where like the event is real, but everything else around it isn't real. So so you have Glenn Powell, who is a professor, but also helps out with the police with some undercover work, where he is now, or he was somewhat in the background, where he like kind of like listened to. I don't really know what his job was before, but he kind of helped out with, like, the undercover stuff, setting up cameras and wiring for the hitman when they go into basically get like the confessions from, like, these drug dealers, or from these like other people, these bad people that want to do bad things. And at some point, like, the original hitman gets, like, suspended, so he has to go in as the hitman. And so he just becomes really good at it, and that's basically what he does throughout the whole entire film until he comes upon this woman, played by Ardrea. I'm pretty sure I'm saying her name wrong. I feel bad because she's a very attractive woman, and I just don't want to disrespect her like that. So they kind of fall in love with one another. He basically, so he's during this like investigation slightness. She she basically wants to kill her husband because she thinks her husband is abusive, and, like, she's scared of him. And next he kind of sees her in, like, is kind of like, distracted by not only her attractiveness, but he also sees it from, like, almost like a human perspective, like, oh, she's is misunderstanding. She, could have done this wrong thing and all of that. So basically, he thinks like he's like helping her in a slight way because, I guarantee it's most likely because she is very attractive. But, like, stopping from someone that he thinks is a good person from doing a bad thing, and just, like, could do something else instead of trying to kill her old husband. And next, with that, she wants to thank him, and next, then all this relationship happens where she thinks that he is still like an actual hitman. And so throughout this whole entire movie, you see him play with the identity of being a hitman and being his, like, his real person, being Gary, who was this professor dude, but also at the same time, um, a hitman. But he is falling in the identity of being like an actual hitman. Does that mean he goes around killing people? No, he just kind of just plays with the personality of it. And um, and that's basically the film. It's mostly like a romance movie, but without any of the romance. To be honest, I could care less about their relationship because they don't really talk. Besides, like, the 5 minutes of, like, him actually undercover, like, talking with her and, like, trying to get her out of, like, of killing her husband. That's the most of, like, they can actually talk about one another. But the rest of the movie, it's just them having sex. Like, I could care fucking less about their relationship, to be honest. Um, and next, when, like, when he slightly somewhat turns, it's like, why? It's mostly probably because she's a very attractive woman. And but at the same time, it's like, you don't I don't I don't get it. And, like, I wish that they actually dived a little bit more into like what he liked about this girl, than more than that she's very attractive. Because the way that the movie ends, it's like, okay, yeah, now you guys are just doing this because you're very attractive people, and you guys are just meant to be together. Uh, like that's what this movie feels like. But I did enjoy bits of this movie. Like this movie was funny. Glen Powell plays the role perfectly, especially when he has to play with the different identities, which was a lot of fun. But the thing is, they did bring up the question of like, okay, what if you dive into identity too far? Is there a way of coming back? They actually do bring that question of like an identity crisis type of deal, but they don't go anywhere with it. It's just like, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's kind of lame. I wish that they kind of took like almost like a dark comedy route with this movie, but no, they play too safe and just simply just be a straight up comedy. So then the general audience can like the movie, because like if you have like a dark take on it, like that most sometimes will turn people off. I'm gonna give Hitman a C plus. It is a good time to watch. Anyway, guys, thanks very much for watching. Like always, I'll see you guys next review. Bye, guys.